The latest as far as the Judge case Rao is concerned, the scandal ignites or rather reignites. The government is now moving on the impeachment of Justice Varma, and the government is rallying all parties to have a consensus around the impeachment proceedings against Justice Varma. Remember, this was the judge who was found with piles of cash that were burnt inside his residence itself. Multiple probes have already taken place, and now the government is moving towards impeachment of Justice Varma and is now trying to ensure that there is a complete political consensus around this, and that is when it will table the impeachment motion in Parliament as well. There's a 3-month deadline that has been set aside for the impeachment proceedings to go underway and to conclude. If you're tuning in right now, viewers, this is the same judge with whom there were piles of cash that were found in his house. They were burnt 500 rupee notes, and that raised serious questions of propriety as far as Justice Varma is concerned. He was then transferred back to Allahabad High Court. There was a huge political and a huge row that had erupted. The fact that he was actually transferred back to Allahabad High Court and no action was taken against them. But since then, the call for impeachment of Justice Varma has only grown louder. And on your screens are the process, the highlights of what really is the process all about in terms of impeaching a judge. There is a certain process, a constitutionally mandated process that has to be followed for impeachment of a judge that to take place. And to ensure that that proceeding takes place in accordance with both the law and the constitutional framework, ahead of that, the government is putting an entire process in place, and for that it is reaching out to all political parties for a consensus, a complete consensus before the impeachment proceedings of Justice Varma can be initiated. Signatures from party members will be taken for this consensus building exercise that is set to begin soon, and that is when the impeachment proceedings against Justice Varma will kickstart. Remember, this is the government reaching out to opposition to build a consensus ahead of the monsoon session. Let's get in my colleague Vasudha Venugopal for more on this. Vasudha, this is the big story that we are tracking right now. Talk to us about what is the thinking right now within the government in terms of initiating and closing the impeachment proceedings against Justice Varma.
Well, Gauri, the monsoon session of the Parliament is all set to begin from the 21st of July. And like you rightly pointed out, Justice Varma alleged corruption case has actually shocked a lot of people because it raised very serious questions on accountability of judiciary when it comes to corruption. Now, this same case is going to rock the Parliament. What we understand from our sources is that there will be a committee that will be formed and that will also look into this case, because there is an internal committee that has already, looked into this case, examined this case, come out with its report. But that will be seen as an internal committee, and this was a Supreme Court committee by judges. Now, the Parliament will look into this. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju has already spoken to leaders, MPs from prominent political parties. Smaller parties will also be reached out to. The government is very clear that it wants consensus on this. It does not want to politicize the matter, because this is with regard to judiciary, which is also very important for the functioning of the country. So it wants to get consensus. This committee that will be formed by the Parliament will, of course, submit the report. That report will be tabled, and of course, after that, the discussion will follow. So, of course, there will be some time to this, but the process of removal of Justice Varma will begin as soon as the Parliament starts, and there's already a lot of talks going on on that count.